The highly anticipated Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice is now just 3 months away, and fans are more anxious now than ever to find out as many details about the film as possible. This weekend, a report began to circulate around the web that a German theater company had revealed the runtime for the superhero team-up movie. According to the reports, Batman vs. Superman will come in at 2 hours and 31 minutes, making it 8 minutes longer than the previous film in the series, Man of Steel. John, is 2 hours and 31 minutes too long for a movie like Batman vs. Superman?
2 hours and 31 minutes is long. There's no way around it. That's long. However, we got to keep this in mind too. I don't believe, aside from comedies, I believe comedies, 90 minutes should be the target for comedies. I don't know why I feel that way, but for me, 90, 95, 98 minutes, that's the great target number for comedies. But for almost anything else to me, hey, 2 hours is an average length, 2.5 hours is long, 3 hours is bloody long, whatever. But I've always said this, it depends on the film. It really depends on the movie. I can go and sit down and watch Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, and that 3 hours just goes by, man. It just flies. The 3 hour runtime for Lord of the Rings, Return of the King was an appropriate runtime to me. That's what it felt like. So is 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 31 minutes, is that a long runtime? Yes, it's a long runtime. But is it too long? I really can't answer that question until we see the movie. We might go in and watch that movie and think, you know what? This movie was almost perfect. It should have shaved about 10 minutes off. It should have saved about, or we'll go in and we'll feel like when the credits roll, we'll feel like, man, that time flew. It's almost impossible at this point until we see the movie to really say. Now, as comic book movie fans, our default position is, well, hell, I've been waiting 30 years for Batman versus Superman to be on screen. Make it 5 hours. I mean, we can say that. But who knows, 2 hours and 30 minutes, that might be the sweet spot. Maybe we'll walk out thinking it's too short. Maybe we'll walk out wishing they trimmed 10 minutes out of it. I just don't feel like we can, in an educated way at this point, say whether this is the right runtime for the film or not. Schnepp, you heard about the runtime. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect runtime. I mentioned it. I was hoping it would be 2.5 hours last week. And so if this is really the breakdown, then it makes sense because you're reintroducing the Batman character in this Man of Steel universe, and you're also introducing a lot of the other DC characters, but mainly it's Batman. So I think the first 45 minutes is going to feel like it's a Batman movie and him trying to figure out how to deal with this Superman character. Then they're going to introduce Superman. There'll probably be like a little bit of Superman in there as well, but you'll start to see it really focus on Batman versus Superman in the next hour, and then a bunch of other characters will come in for the third act. So it feels like if it's a natural act 1, act 2, act 3 in a kind of a big epic way, this feels like the right runtime, especially with Man of Steel. Like, yeah, he could have cut 10 minutes out of Man of Steel here and there, whatever, but it never felt like, oh my God, I'm bored. I mean, I've been in 90-minute films and felt like, when is this piece of trash going to end? Horrible. And it's like, it depends on the pacing of the film. It depends on the quality of the film. It depends on the screenwriting. You can see a 90-minute movie and it's torture. It's literal torture. Or you can see a 3-hour movie and you'll be like, I want to see it again. So I think it's the perfect runtime.
Christian.
Makes me really nervous. I think that if it was either Ben Affleck or like Christopher Nolan directing, I'd be less nervous. But Zack Snyder has been known for more visual stuff, and like even I really enjoyed Man of Steel a lot, to be honest. But I do think there was 10 minutes too long, and that does. And I wasn't bored, but it was 10 minutes too long. I think that like you could have cut out a lot of that action stuff, trimmed down some of the action stuff with the Zod fight, and had the same impact with it too. So that's what I'm worried about. I mean, it's Batman vs Superman, so of course you want it if all the details there, and like you said, if it's a movie like Return of the King where it's that epic and everything in the script is moving, all these characters are flushed out, then it could be 2:45 and I'd be happy. I just don't have the confidence yet in Snyder that he can do a 2.5 hour movie for me. I mean, because he didn't do it in a 2.5 minute trailer so far. So in the movie, it makes me nervous.
Hey, come on, that Comic-Con trailer, I still say that was the best trailer.
No, I'm talking about
the
one. I'm talking about what they did so far at the end. Yeah. The last 20, 30 seconds of the most recent trailer has now gone like, I don't know. But I want to see how it fits together in 2:30. Because if we can get a movie that really defines, because I agree with you, Schnepp, as far as you have to really develop this new Batman. Yeah. He's new to us. He's brand new to us. So develop him, make me care about him, and then the same thing. And because if you do all that and you fit it all together, where you're telling this great story and introducing all these new characters, a lot to put in this movie, and it's done well, then yeah, give me 2:30. It just makes me nervous considering that Snyder's a visual director more than anything else.
I gotta say, like the thing that really bummed me out about that second trailer, we've talked about a lot, was Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Lex Luthor. But I think it's a misdirect. I think that's the outside, just like Bruce Wayne is the outside of Batman. I think that Lex Luthor portrayal is an outside.
Well, that's what I
misdirect.
mentioned before. I
So-
said I'm totally cool with what we saw of Lex Luthor in that second trailer, if that's the fake persona he puts on in public, like Bruce
yeah.
Wayne puts on the millionaire
Yeah,
playboy
right.
persona, but behind closed doors, maybe it's different.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.